And then we have our old board, CEDP board retreat meeting this afternoon.
You is after your 3 minutes speech. Okay, they heard what you had to say. What had happened after that?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Really?
Man, I believe that. I believe it.
Oh yeah, Jackie Holmes is here again.
Yeah.
I'm here to say her piece and don't really say nothing. To it.
Well, just nobody, just letting them know I'm around. I'm around.
And then your friend, what was that?
Hi.
There,
Claire.
Oh, hold on, I can't hear you. Let me turn up my volume.
How's it going, everybody?
yeah, she is.
Hi, everybody.
Harmon.
Good
I didn't know that was Harmon. I've only
Andrew and
dealt
I
with
are
nobody
joined at the
about
hip
her stuff.
today.
Yeah, Harmon said.
And you know the good thing about it is they did their interactive platform. They didn't think they were better than this.
Oh, I
And I like that. Like I told Sarah, I've never been to a firm that's so good. I said, but I've never understood it. So now that I'm somebody that
I talked to her for hours and hours. I've got miles of text to Sarah. So Jose, I know, he asked some good questions. He's from Southeast. He's
Andy.
from this group right here. And
Good
then,
morning.
Jackie, I think
I
your
don't know.
audio is
Our
on.
area.
There we go. Sweet. How's everyone doing?
Doing good. We were hoping that we can hear Jackie's conversation.
I thought Jackie was leaving the show, so I was just waiting.
Okay.
We want to get all those juicy details.
Hey, somebody talking about me. I gotta start this meeting. I heard all that.
It was me, Jackie.
When I tried you by later on, and I wanted to get that application.
over there on the table.
All right.
Andy, are you making me host?
Yeah, I just did.
Okay. Let's see. All right, there we go. Now I have breakout rooms.
Hey, Joe, good to see you.
Nice to see you too, Andy. I think that was Andy who said that. Sorry, I can't see you at the moment.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. So this is our bi-monthly meeting for June. On the agenda, let me pull it up here. That way everybody can see it. I can also share a copy. That way you just have it fresh. So what we're gonna do, we've been doing our breakout rooms. So that's just a way to connect, check in, kind of hear how you're doing. So you could choose, here are 3 questions. How's your board team? Is it strong? What development does it need? What do you personally spend most of your time on? And does everyone in your organization, board or staff, know how to speak effectively about your nonprofit? Remember we did that. One of the things we did over the last month or 2 was that pitch meeting where people had a chance. I think we had 4 organizations that had a chance to pitch $50,000 and do a presentation. So that was one of the things we recently did, just to harness our skills and do a little debrief. Esther is going to do an update. We've been working on our governance. So as CEDP started, for us, it was an idea that then got funded. And then now we're trying to think about sustainability. So what does it look like? How do we organize and govern CEDP as a group? Right now, Artie, Keith, myself, and Andy meet weekly. And then we have an executive team. So just want to give you some context, want you to look over that. I'll paste that link in the chat as well. Or if somebody else can do that, feel free to do that. Esther will guide us through there. And then we're starting our board retreat planning. So love to get some ideas or topics or presenters. What would you love for your board to hear? At least the last 2 that we've had, I think we've only had 2, have been amazing. And I had 3 board members at the last one. All of them, I think, felt way more encouraged. They felt way more supported. They knew their role a little bit better and just felt connected to something larger. So Angie's going to talk us through that. And then Artie's going to do an update on our monthly sessions, and I'll hit some resources. So that's our agenda for today. Any questions? No? All right. So let me put them in the chat. Here are the questions. As you go into your breakout rooms, I'm just going to do them, assign them automatically. As you go into your breakout rooms, whoever wants to go first, choose one of the questions and dive in, okay? Oh my, I may not be on for my session. Yikes. You got time to get ready, Artie, or at least I could try and fill in for you. So, are you... Andy, do you want him to go now, or he doesn't know yet? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, Artie, I don't know.
What am I covering again? I forgot.
I'm happy to cover yours if you want, Artie. And
I
just
think
do
you'd
it
probably
now.
do better than me anyway.
You're here. You probably Artie was going to do it because you weren't going to be here, right?
Yeah, I wasn't going to be here. So I gave it to Artie.
All right. So you're here. Go.
Okay, I'll go for it. Hey friends, so we have been doing the last year or so, maybe even longer than that, meeting on a monthly basis one-on-one. So I have got to sit with most of you guys for about an hour or so, sometimes longer, and just processing what's going on in your organization, capacity building, sometimes training, and that has been amazing. But from this point on, we're wondering if a wiser approach to our time would now be to have a collaborative effort, so more voices, stronger conversation, and do these monthly one-on-ones rather than just being hosted by myself or led by myself, organized in group sessions. And so it could look like a small group of 2, 3, or 4 meeting on a monthly basis. And so we just wanted to process your thoughts on that, and then also just get a little bit of feedback from you if you think it would be helpful to move into a group session of 2 to 4 folks, and then some input on how to divide those groups. So it could be by district is an idea that was thrown out. Another idea that was thrown out is by experience. So amount of years you've been an executive director. So maybe if you've been a executive director for less than 3 years, you might be in a collective of similar folks. And then, 5+ years might be another group. So first question is, and you guys can put it in the chat, unmute, or give a thumbs up. What are your thoughts in moving our one-on-ones from myself and you conversations to a small group, and then, yeah, just having a fuller conversation as a collective? So the question is yes or no. Do you want to move into that model?
Go thumbs up.
Thumbs up, yes.
I think I threw this out to Andy that I think often coaching conversations are a little more awkward sometimes, and then you get to learn from others, right, alongside others. So I think it's I like the shift. You would still help organize that monthly meeting, Andy?
Yeah, I would coordinate it. I would sit in on it. I know I've processed this already with most of you, and some thoughts that we had was, do we have the option to still have a one-on-one when needed? And the answer is obviously yes. So you can do both, or specific organizational times if you want to reach out and it's still a one-on-one with me in addition to a group meeting, we can do that too. Hi, Hector. See you way back there.
Yeah, Andy, as much as I really enjoyed talking to you and getting ideas, I do think, and I know that you're super busy and you're getting extra stuff. So I do think that it would be a good idea, because now we're sharing things that we're all doing. We might not be doing it the same, and we're trying to reinvent the wheel. So I think it is a good idea if we have small groups.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Angie.
I like the idea of the geographically grouped EDs talking to each other on a regular basis. I know that we always enjoy it when we get the opportunity, but I think to structure it that way, at least for a few months, and then we can look at it again. But I would look forward to meeting with the people who I share our boundaries with.
I like it too, because I think even the age of the organization or the leader or whatever, I think that could get like folks that have been doing it longer may have resources that they could share with me, and that I would not, I don't want to be with just somebody that's done it for 2 years. We're all just figuring it out together. Whereas like somebody that's done this for 10, like teach me.
I think topic wise or common thread would be good, because if I'm meeting with someone, if I'm talking development and somebody else is talking food, we may not have a whole lot to share other than getting other ideas. But if we're talking about digging down in the weeds and really going for it, I'd love to be working or talking with people who are doing some of the same things that we're doing or trying to get started.
I think learning new things is good. And also a key thing is contextualization as well, because sometimes we will see that someone else is doing something very similar, but in a different context. And so there's some minor differences. And I think that's really good for us to keep in mind.
Is my mic open? Can you hear me? Okay, yes, I think.
Yes, we can hear you.
I think something that needs to happen is that there has to be better connection on issues, on projects, on things that we're doing. I'll tell you, I've been waiting for the opportunity for all of us to work together when relating to issues or projects or areas that would benefit the entire region. Whether we target poverty, what is it that we're trying to fix? And for example, the budget hearings of the city of Fresno are coming up. Can we get together and have a common theme as to what there are millions of dollars being allocated? Are we communicating amongst ourselves and also to our elected officials as a group on what we see as important? We're not doing that type of thing. And that really takes a little bit more political sophistication, I guess. And we individually, perhaps we're doing it, But I think we would be more effective if we did it as a group, not just individually. That's one thought. And there are other
Hey,
examples.
just to stop you right there. So am I hearing that you're voting towards meeting geographically and by district?
When you say district, are you referring to the councilmanic districts or other districts that have been created?
No. The
What's the
council
answer?
districts.
So it would be councilmanic districts?
Mhm.
Yeah, that would make sense because then it's a political jurisdiction. And I wanted to just add another process it's in motion right now. And that is millions of dollars being allocated for parks. And I happen to serve on the commission of Measure P, and that's another opportunity for us to work together. I just wanted to give two examples of places where we really should have better connection. And if we want to have meetings by district, yeah, that's fine. But ultimately, we have to communicate all of the areas that are participating in this venture.
Yeah. Thanks, Jose. I think that's great.
Andy, do you feel like you have enough there to begin working on a potential meeting structure?
Yeah. So I think what you can expect from this point on, we will finish out this month with our one-on-ones. You guys can bring your ideas or even your preferences for the two ideas that I'm hearing come out is geographic or focus-based. And so you can give your thoughts and feedback in our one-on-ones in this month, and I'll use this month to kind of shape out those groups and introduce that by the end of the month. And in July, we'll meet in group sessions.
Yeah. And I like the idea, I threw it out there and I think Lauren agreed, but I can see in seasons, you mix them up, like do this one for 4 months, switch it up, do this one. Then we get to meet each other. We get to have regular conversations, build a little bit of trust and connection. And so I think that could be rich.
And then we don't get as isolated either, Andrew. There's more variety, depth, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
In April, just to speak into a lot of meetings, it is true. I think we're all a part of a lot of meetings. The good thing is that it would replace the meeting that you already have with me. So this isn't in addition to, this will be replacing one.
Right. I sit in 3 districts.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Choose your favorite. Yeah, we'll figure that out together in our one-on-one.
You have to go to 15 meetings. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Andrew. Love you too.
That's the only option. All right. Well, let's do this. I'm going to do some breakout groups here. I'll post the topics just that way you have them. And we'll do, let's see, about 20 minutes or so. Let's see, will that be enough? I think that'll probably not be enough. We'll probably do 15 minutes. Let's do 15 minutes and we'll gather you back. Again, just choose a idea that you want, and yeah, let's see. We'll go. Thank you, Andy. Enjoy your training, and share your resources after your training. All right, let's do breakouts. See you back in 15 minutes. It should be opening up now. Do you want to join a breakout or just chat stuff with you?
Oh, I am.
All right, did you guys give each other digital high fives? Good job, team.
Thank you for putting me with April. Great conversation.
Did you set 3 more meetings for her? Because you should. All right, so we're gonna shift into our next segment. Esther is gonna lead us, and we're gonna be looking over the governance proposal. And so I think, again, to just like highlight and put the value to this is, CEDP is really still in an infancy stage, right? Like, it has some funding, it has some resource for this year, for next year. I think we got a 2-year grant cycle to continue to support what we currently are at. But the future of it is yet to be determined. And so I think even this type of a proposal, this type of a governance structure says, as folks step out, how do we put new folks in? How long do folks stay on? It's all the board kind of stuff that we all have to work on ourselves. But that really gets to sustainability in the organization as a whole. So I'm going to give over to Esther, kind of walk through it. Esther, do you want me to put anything up on the screen or anything?
Sure, you can share the document. I mean, I think people have the ability to click on it too and see it. So either way is totally fine. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We have gardeners outside. I always forget that Wednesday morning is like super loud. So hopefully that noise doesn't interfere. So anyway, good morning all. So good to see you. Yeah, so as most of you know, for a while now, well, since we hired Andy, really Keith, Andrew, and Artie have been providing her with oversight and leadership and meeting with her weekly to really help coordinate her position and how she interacts with all of us, and really the coordination of these meetings plus one-on-ones plus our website plus our work groups. Right now it's just the housing work group, like all of that work. And so there's kind of become this structure that will aid to the sustainability of our CEDP partnership. And so as we've kind of just continued to gather and talk about what that looks like, as Keith would like to retire someday and our organizations continue to grow and change and move, we decided it was time to kind of put some governance for the CEDP partnership. We are not an organization. We are not a 501c3. Each of us organizations are our own organizations, but we are a partnership. And so how do we create some sort of structure, leadership structure, that will help our organizations continue in partnership for a long time and be successful and be able to take on funding to fund a project manager or others in the future, who knows? And so we outlined what is currently, and then thought through the longer term. How do we move people or organizations into leadership and out of leadership? What does that look like? And so we really came up with this document that is kind of a living, breathing document at this point, and we wanted to bring it to the wider group to seek some more input at this point with it. And so you can see here that Andy is really is in constant communication and has the oversight of our CEDP staff leaders. And so the staff leadership is made up of the organization who is the fiscal agent for the grant that pays for this. So that is currently Metro Ministries. Artie has been a part of this for the CEDP since really the beginning, and has brought in just wonderful insight with organizations, partnerships throughout the city, with his long leadership at EMP and now with vendors as well. And so has added a lot of value to this leadership team. And then Andrew coming in, filling Artie's footsteps as EMP director, has been able to add so much value in this space as well. And these three folks and organizations, it's individuals and it's organizations, have really put in a lot of time. So this leadership team, these three individuals put in a lot of time weekly to the oversight and the management of the CEDP. And then next to that is this executive committee made up of the staff leaders and April, Esther, and Jackie. And the reason for this is these are the original organizations or the original people that were part of the first gathering of CEDP. And so there was 5 of us at that table when we first started. And so that's really where this executive and staff leadership really comes from. And so we've talked about now how we want to structure this, and then how we want to phase people in and people out of this structure to create a sustainable leadership structure. So there is lots of details here. I don't know how much detail I need to go into, but I would love to maybe just open it up for any questions. Hopefully you've had a chance to read through this document. Have any questions or any comments or insight or ideas at this point would be a really great time to kind of open it up for that. And then if there are other ideas that need to be shared outside of this time, feel free to email either all of us on the leadership team, or communicate that to Andy, and she can communicate it back to us. Yeah, so I'll just kind of open it up for thoughts and comments at this point for a few minutes.
Thoughts,
sharing so we can see each other. Thanks for your scrolling skills there.
Well, I for one am for it. I think it alleviates some of the weight that the 3 people leading it now carry. And I appreciate you guys stepping in. You guys have been the longest standing CEDP members. So I'm for it, and I appreciate your leadership. I also like the clause where if you need to step away, you can, and the term limit, I think that's important. Yeah, it's a healthy balance thing.
I hear Keith talking more about his transition, what he's working on, decisions he's making. And these kinds of things sometimes take a very long time. But right now, Metro's the fiscal agent. Metro houses the program support, and houses Andy. Those are things that are hard to change fast, I think, because of the funding comes for 2 years, maybe for other different kinds of time. But that's something that we do need to address in terms of a midterm or maybe even long-term plan. what happens with our grant management, or our fiscal agent, and where our program support person is housed.
Yeah, and even outside of that, do we have a, part of the, sustainability that I think the executive team and staff will have to be working on is, do we have sustainability? So outside of Kresge funding us, do we have anybody else funding us? So if Kresge does not renew, which it's very likely they'll move on from Fresno to other cities after our 2-year grant. And so, there's probably very little, we're going to be needing to develop other funders, other partners that want to invest and build into our capacity. So I think, those are great questions, Jackie.
Yeah, I think I can make a comment there, Andrew. So we really have between now and probably mid 2024 to get more funders, make the kind of decisions you're talking about, Jackie, whether we stay with the same kind of structure for physical agency or the whole program becomes an independent 501c3, whatever you want to do. But I'm committed to seeing the next 2 years to increase resources for the CEDP, diversify the funding base, and certainly tee it up as to what meets the most needs of the partnership and to grow the partnership. I still think it's really important to look at this as a vehicle for having greater voice out of the neighborhood in city and regional policy and resource allocation. So we got about 2 years to tee this thing up stronger if we can.
Any other thoughts, comments that you'd want to throw in there? Obviously, as Esther said, if you have a comment you don't want to make publicly, please shoot that to Esther and Andy. I think that would be really great. But any other thoughts, comments on the governance structure? Everybody's favorite topic. This is really important stuff, and though it is again not the most enlightening or not most
Andrew, I vote for it. I vote for it.
You vote for it. I do want to just remind everybody, this is a partnership. It started as us 5 gathering around a physical table, and sharing ideas and learning from each other. And the relationship, we all agreed, was the most important. And so I think as we've been meeting and talking about this governance structure, I think we've all been trying to center just that, is how do we continue to have a partnership where relationship is valued and centered. So I think that really is the hope, even though it is, governance and organizational and all those kinds of things.
Okay. Seeing no further comments, we'll move on and we'll begin to approve that unless there's anything else that comes in over email. But I think this is really important. Our last item is want to talk about the board retreat. So Angie's going to make a little kind of pitch and throw out some ideas, but love to start thinking about the board retreat. So Angie, I'll hand it off to you.
Okay, so first of all, mark your calendars for August 25th. And we are having a meeting today at 1:30, so we don't have all the particulars. So at this point, what I'd like to do is if anyone wants to volunteer and be part of the committee that can assist us, you can email Andy and ask her to send you the link, and then you can attend the meeting with us this afternoon at 1:30. But I think right now what I do want to ask is, last year when we had the event, it was a great event. but a lot of it seemed to be more virtual than in person. And the reason being, of course, is the pandemic, and people were still leery about going out in public. So I'm hoping that this time we can have a lot more in-person attendance. And I wanted to start out with trying to find a theme that we can use that'll make it fun, exciting, just add to it. So I was kind of thinking maybe Hawaiian theme. I don't know about you
I want to
guys.
see Keith in a little skirt, grass skirt, you know.
No, I don't do skirts. But if there is anything, I saw that, Keith. But we will discuss some of them if you guys think, hey, why don't we try this? You know, we can talk about that. But currently, I think we only have Esther, you're in the committee. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
You, myself, and there's one other person along with Andy. So if we add a couple more, I think that'll give us more feedback, more ideas. So what we'd like to do is we want to be able to promote the CDCs, promote all of you guys, and help you out with the flyers, any information that we can help you with. So what we did last year, I was not necessarily a big part of it, but with what I saw, we were able to show all the CDCs. And I know we had several people talking a little bit about what we did. So we would still like to do that. And we'd still like to send it out and have your residents or whoever you want to invite. And like I said, again, the bigger, the better.
Is this, Andy, I'm sorry, you just mentioned residents, but this has typically been our combined board
You know what?
retreat.
I'm sorry, I said residents, I meant employees.
Employees or board?
But we had some of the employees there. It wasn't all the board and us. It's at least some of the people that I spoke to, they were part of the employees. But if it's strictly going to be the board, the CDC, and the reason I say that is because it was like, Esther, it wasn't just you alone, it was you and a few other people there. So, but the whole thing, we'll discuss it at 1:30 at the meeting today. But like I said, if there's any information that you want to give us and a theme, anything at all, let Andy know, let me know, and we'll go from there.
I know in the past, we've done kind of board responsibility around financial responsibility. And then last year, the board training included just kind of oversight of board responsibilities. Is there other topics that you feel would be really beneficial for your board right now with where they are? Are you guys looking at board transition? Are you looking at, just basic governance? Is there, I know Andrew said financial things. So what 2 or 3 things would be really beneficial for your board? Right now, that might be good to just drop in the chat, and then the committee, the planning team, can help guide who we invite to speak or what topics we're able to bring. That's really beneficial for everyone, because this event is only really good if it's beneficial to all of our boards and adds value.
rather than me putting it in the chat, I think our board members would just be fascinated and inspired by the larger context of relationships that the CEDP has. I think they become exposed to, these are the 12 organizations or 15 organizations, but some kind of a overview of how we're connected to the different kinds of funding because we're together, how our housing leadership team works, how what we're working on in terms of economic development, so that the collaborative value of the CDP is put into the minds of board members when they're actually making decisions about our smaller entity.
That's really good, Jackie. And I think one of the ideas that came up after last year and us each giving, our 60 seconds intro to our organization was how could we maybe do that in a video that felt very concise, but really informational and kept the flow going really well. So maybe we can think is collaborations across our city, because we have so many wonderful stories to tell and to highlight our work too. So I think, maybe that is a good thought. I wrote that down in the chat too, Jackie. So thank you for that.
Yeah, great idea.
And we could close almost with an altar call, like some of you here today are connected to resources that we all don't know about that might be best utilized by us as a partnership. So come forward and see.
And fall on your knees, and Jackie will bless you with some oil.
Yeah. And I think we'll probably be reaching out to every one of you and see what input you can give us and help us out with. Even though you're not in the committee, we can still ask for help, and I know you guys will do it.
If you have any other ideas, please email Angie and Andy and let them know. Lauren put legal essentials to keep your CBO healthy and avoid trouble. Yeah, it's a really good one. I was telling somebody, I'm like, you don't know what you don't know. And then all of a sudden you're in a meeting and somebody's like, oh, can you send me that one form? And you're like, yes, that one form I definitely have.
All right, thank you guys.
What's going on there?
Hector has a comment.
Oh, Hector, got it. I see it now. Oh, you're just waving.
I want to throw my 2 cents also along with Jackie. I think that I know for our board, we've been trying to figure out how to create business partnerships. So perhaps the cooperation and partnerships could be a theme for this retreat or part of that when it comes to local government, whether it's our district leaders, business partners, and doing that through the CDC, and then part of it being, residents of other churches. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud here. We've been, as a board, trying to figure out how to do that well, and realizing that it's really different the way you teach each of those, entities, so to speak. So something we're interested in and excited to learn about alongside you.
Awesome. Thanks, Hector. That's good. So second for collaboration partnerships. All right. Well, the final note Andy had on the agenda is just to check out the resource page and let her know if there's anything you want to be included that doesn't work, that you'd prefer. Her and I offline have been going back and forth on this. And I think basically it works as a standing point for, and it's resource locked. That way, you know, some of our recordings, some of our files aren't shared publicly. So this is not something to share widely or publicly as well for you. But there's, you know, with housing, our general operations, ABCD stuff, you can click in and then it has like the content. So I think this is also works as a really great way for folk to bring people on board, is like you can just share, all right, here's actually our recording and the slide deck from our retreat that we did, right? Here's our onboarding process, our handbook. So a ton of resources there. Check that out. And if there's any feedback or anything you'd want to share, just go ahead and let her know. Okay. Perfect. Anything else? Anything else worth throwing out there? Shoot.
Great to see you, Joe.
Good to see you too. You're one of my favorite people in the universe, Jackie. You know that.
All right. Anyone else have love they want to give to somebody else? Or any other kind of community announcements? I know sometimes we have events coming up. Do you want to throw out there? Anything else you want to throw out? Any events coming up? Okay. All right. Well, peace be with you all. It's good to hang out. Great to learn. Great to grow together. And yeah, be looking for communications for our next gathering. See y'all.
Here.
Bye-bye.
Hi.